Wow. Was that fast?
Thank you so much. Is this thing on? All right, well, you might have to forgive me if I have a couple of blunders. I'm more comfortable standing in front of 30,000 people in tiny shorts and a tank top than I am up here on stage right now. But thank you so much for having me, and I'd love to take an opportunity with you guys today to share a couple of ideas. As James mentioned, my name is Leer, and I have a very non-traditional job. How many of you guys in this room, raise your hands please, if you've ever run 1 mile? Who's run that mile faster than 10 minutes? Faster than 9 minutes? We're in track time, we got some fast people. Faster than 6 minutes? 5 minutes? I've been fortunate enough to make a career out of running the mile in under 4 minutes. And believe it or not, that actually is me. My wife made me get a haircut. Now, again, we're on a little bit of interaction with you guys. I'm going to list off a couple of countries, and if you've ever visited or wanted to visit any of these, please raise your hand and keep it raised. France, Italy, Spain, Iceland. I'm not going to stop until everyone has their hand raised. Mexico, Australia, New Zealand, Sweden, Finland, Japan. I think we got pretty much everybody. These are all places that I've been lucky enough to race, which means that someone paid for me to go there. But getting to the point where I was getting paid to run races in some of the coolest places on this amazing planet, well, that didn't happen overnight, and that's sort of what I want to talk about with you guys today. I didn't do it alone. It took a team. It wasn't always easy. And in my sport of black and white numbers, it required me to define my success. I approached my non-traditional job from an equally non-traditional path. As James mentioned, I went to Pomona College and graduated there from there in 2007. From Pomona, from these humble beginnings, I landed right here in Tracktown, USA, and I joined the Oregon Track Club Elite. It was my team that helped lift me from being just a kid from Division III to finishing 4th in the 1,500 meters in the 2008 Olympic trials. The importance of the team is not something that should be overlooked. You guys have an amazing team here. I've been in the room with now 2 roomfuls of you. It's very powerful. Every morning, everyone in this room, we're faced with some of the same or similar questions. Why are we out here? What am I doing here? Is it for selfish reasons? Or is it for something bigger? Is it for a community? As an athlete, I wake up every morning for my training partners. I wake up for my coach, for collective improvement, for my sponsors. The work necessary to become one of the fastest people in the world is hard. There are no shortcuts. And running, I'll be perfectly honest, can be pretty monotonous, especially in the lovely winters of the Pacific Northwest. There's nothing quite like getting ready to go out the door for the second time during the day in 30 degrees and rain. But when you're meeting a group of your closest friends, you get to laugh the day away. On teams, we establish meaningful relationships. I've literally spent thousands of hours running, eating, recovering, with teammates who have gone to become some of my best friends in the entire world. I've also trained with men and women for whom these relationships were more passive. And I can tell you that not a single one of those people ever fully realized their potential. These meaningful relationships not only make our work more enjoyable, but we also get the most out of one another. In 2012, I failed to make an Olympic team. But our sport doesn't stop there. I went over to Europe and spent months racing, running my tail off, trying to validate and reap the rewards for all the training I did during the year. I got a call from one of my training partners who had qualified and was going to be racing in London. And he said, "Will, I'm struggling. I need some help." 5 days later, I was on an airplane back to Detroit, Michigan, where we trained in Ann Arbor. And I was with him every step of the way for the last 3 weeks leading into the London Olympic Games. We say that a marker of true friendship is the willingness to show up. If your colleagues know that you'll show up for them, I can guarantee they'll be there for you too. I was happy. It was an honor for me to fly back from Europe and be with my training partner, because his success is a part of my success. On a team, we have to love each other. I'm not talking about that gushy kind of love. I'm talking about a companionate love. Feelings of affection, compassion, caring, and a tenderness for others. Love is a part of what makes a great team great. When others are willing to give that extra little bit, not for ourselves, but for the collective. You may be thinking, well, isn't running an individual sport? Not the way I learned to love it. I came from team sports my entire life. In high school, I joined the track and field team to make myself better at soccer. In short order, I was on the 4x400 meter relay and the 4x800 meter relay with a group of seniors. I was a freshman. In college, I like to say that I truly became a runner. I learned to suffer. I ran my first season of cross country. It was brutal. Cross country is a team sport. I was out there for the training partners that I ran with every day, hurting, getting the most out of myself. Arguably, my greatest accomplishment as a professional athlete came at the 2014 IAAF World Relay Championships. 3 of my teammates and I were contesting the 4x1500 meters, which is a not often competed event, against some of the best runners in the world. This is the first time they'd ever held the World Relay Championships in Nassau, Bahamas. I should have mentioned that. Another great place to visit. As we entered our final leg, I handed the baton off to Leo Manzano. I don't know if you guys are students of the sport. Leo finished second in the London Olympics, bringing home a silver medal. I was feeling pretty confident in our chances. Kenya was way out front. They were chasing the world record. Leo was caught in a little bit of no man's land. There's about a 50-meter gap between us and Kenya, about another 50 meters back to Ethiopia. Again, I don't know if you guys are students of the sport, so there's some pretty heavy hitters. And running, like life, there are good days and bad days. Unfortunately for Leo, he was having a rough one. 100 meters to go in the race, Ethiopia pulls up on Leo's shoulder. My 2 other teammates and I, we can see he's struggling. And we're just standing there screaming, screaming, screaming. We had a privileged position to be on the inside of the track. Leo gutted it out, gave every ounce that he had, and by margin of 100th of a second, won us the silver medal. Afterwards, as we're celebrating, jumping up and down, we maybe or maybe did not win a bunch of money. That was great. Leo confided us as we were walking into drug testing in the post-race media. He said, "You know what, you guys, there was a moment there where I thought, you know, a bronze medal would be pretty good for us finishing behind Kenya and Ethiopia. But when I saw you, the 3 of you, jumping up and down, screaming, I knew that bronze wasn't going to cut it." Got a little ahead of myself here. I've been involved in sport for a very long time. I've never made an Olympic team, the hallmark of a track and field career. But when I reflect on my career, I see success. There are a lot of people out there who try and put external markers on our internal and personal challenges. And sure, making an Olympic team has been and will always be a goal of mine, a dream. But arguably my biggest success as an athlete has been the ability to bounce back from disappointment. As I alluded to earlier, 2012, I didn't make the Olympic team. If I'd walked away from track at that point in time, I would have never met my wife. with whom I'm celebrating 3 years of marriage today. I'll take that. Woo, that was great. Yeah, married. I thought running was hard, and then I got married. It took me until 2013 to win my first national title. In 2014, I was running the best races and fastest races of my life. And even today, as an aging, graying athlete, I'm impactful in the sport that I love through my volunteer efforts. I've been volunteering with USA Track and Field on the Athletes Advisory Committee for over 10 years. And on a more micro level, I volunteer at a local high school in my new home of Boulder, Colorado. To my high school athletes, I do my best each day to be an example and to teach some things that were pretty difficult to learn myself. Hard work and living a dedicated lifestyle gave me the confidence to win. Winning from a small stage allowed me to climb the ladder and perform at the biggest stages in the world. Training for long-term goals taught me time management, independence, and goal orientation. Injuries, which I've had many, made me resilient. Losing made me compassionate. Traveling around the world made me well-rounded, cultured, empathetic, and tough, but kept me curious. I had to rely on myself and know when to ask for help. I had to roll with the punches and pivot when challenges arose, and they always arise. Sport taught me teamwork and the benefits of collaboration, flexibility when needed, and being steadfast in knowing exactly what was right for me to accomplish the goal that I had set for myself. When I walk away from sport and onto the next challenges that life will ultimately bring, I walk away with my head high, knowing I did my absolute best to leave the sport better than I found it. And I've done everything in my power to have a positive impact on my friends, on my family, on my fans, and hopefully today in this room. So I want to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for listening. You've been an incredible audience, and you guys have an incredible team here. Thank you.
I think we got you some duck gear. There's a lot of green in there, so when you're running really fast, we'll have to watch it in slow motion in order to track it. But I hope you all see what I saw in Will. I met him briefly a few weeks ago over a weekend, and he epitomizes the culture I'm trying to create. His honesty, his perseverance. He's a great American, and he talks about what it meant to lift up others and what he's done for the sport and everybody he touches. Every one of us can make a difference in the life of another. You have lived it through action versus just words, so we're very proud to have you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.